Hello, my name is Malcolm Skinner and I'm a solicitor in the LexisNexis Private Client PSL team. Today I'm joined by Clare Stirzaker of PricewaterhouseCoopers to discuss the challenges faced by family businesses. Clare.
Hello.
Broadly, what are the challenges that are faced by family businesses these days?
Okay, so family businesses are often very, very unique. Some of the most successful and largest businesses in the world, particularly in the UK, are family owned. But being family owned, that comes with its own unique set of challenges. If you imagine your family managing a business, you can probably start to think through what kind of issues can come up on a day-to-day basis. In summary, some of the key things we find family businesses find incredibly challenging are dealing with issues around who manages the business, whether that should be family members or professionals. How do you prevent conflict within a family when a business is going through a real period of change? And how do you ensure that a family business is innovative while still remaining true to its legacy and its values? Those are sort of the areas where we find most family businesses encounter a lot of challenges.
Right. We hear a lot about family governance, but what is this and why is good governance important for family businesses?
Yeah, family governance is a term that's being used more and more today, and it is quite hard to define at times, but in essence, the way I think about family governance is that it's really a process families go through to really agree between themselves how they want to own and manage their business. And as a consequence of going through those discussions, they'll then normally come up with a series of protocols and structures which really assist them in being much clearer about where the business is going and what role they will each play in terms of managing and owning that business. So for me, a family governance process is enabling family to have very clear discussions on their business and on themselves as a family unit, and enabling them to have much more unity, clarity and transparency about what the future holds for them.
Okay. So how and when do conversations about family governance tend to take place? What sort of time does this happen?
But there's a lot more awareness about the topic of family governance, and there's some fantastic family networks out there which really encourage family businesses to engage on how they can better own and manage their family businesses as a group. But the reality still is that most family businesses will only really tackle this topic of governance and how it can be used to improve their business when they're going through some fairly major events, or trigger events, if you like. So, sad circumstances such as the death of a founder of a business or a key leader, a fallout between family members over where the business is going, a business going through a very period of hard times. Those sort of circumstances tend to bring about an immediate focus on how can we resolve that, and in that respect, how can governance help? Obviously, in my experience as a family governance advisor, it's critical to try and start doing this well before such an event. If you can imagine, if you're going through a very difficult time, such as the death of a key person, it's incredibly emotional and difficult time to go through anyway. And the last thing you want is family conflict, family issues impacting your business during that time. So the more you can think about this in advance, the better. And as advisors, I think when we're going through succession planning and wealth preservation exercises and looking at it from a tax or a legal perspective, I think it's really important that advisors take the time just to ask their clients those slightly more difficult and challenging questions, so they can really help them build a structure that lasts. So, for example, who will be the leader of your business after you step down or after your lifetime? Are your children interested in the business in the future? Those are very big questions, obviously, but just starting to engage and have some discussion around that and working out how you can help your families engage with other families and networks and other professional advisors that can support them in addressing those topics is really key. So I think as advisors, it's really important that when you're going through a succession planning or an asset protection or a wealth preservation exercise, you try and tackle those questions rather than just focusing on the solutions on their own, such as trusts or wills.
I understand, yes. So when we're discussing governance, family business governance, what sort of tools are available to promote this?
Well, there's lots of different tools people can use. I think for me, the key part of a family governance exercise is really getting the family together and having having workshops and subsequent one-to-one discussions where the family really discuss the key principles that they believe in respect of how they want to own and manage their business. There's then a number of tools they can then use to ensure that the values they have, the principles they have, can be borne through in how they own and manage their business on a day-to-day basis. So common tools that people will hear talked about are family constitutions, shareholder agreements, family councils, next generation training, family offices, very wide range of tools there, but actually very, very commonly used within the family business space. There's no one size fits all. There's no standard family governance solution, no standard set of tools as such that everyone always uses. But those are the things that people most commonly focus on.
I suspect a number of our viewers will not be familiar with family constitutions, so perhaps you could broadly and briefly expand on what they consist of and their practical uses.
Yeah, sure. So when a family has been through a governance exercise with more often than not a professional advisor, they will have agreed a set of principles about how they want to own and manage their business. And often as a consequence of that, they'll want to ensure that's all documented so everybody's absolutely clear going forward, this is what we've agreed and this is how we as a group want to own and manage this business and indeed their broader wealth. So that's often documented in a family constitution. It's a terms of reference, I would say. It's not a legally binding document in the main, but many people see it as a morally binding document. And it's just a fantastic document if it's used in the right way that people can consistently refer back to. And it can be used obviously for future generations to enable them to understand why they're all in this together, what's it about, and how do they want to interact with each other in respect to the business. But what's key with the family constitution is that it's seen as a live document. It's referred to consistently. It's not just put into a drawer and forgotten about, which does happen, and that it's refreshed, because family businesses will, as all businesses do, will evolve, will change, and it needs to be looked at on a regular basis. And some of the most successful constitutions I see are where they are regularly looked at, referred to, and updated as the family and the business has evolved.
Okay. So, in conclusion, how would you view all this?
Well, as a private client advisor, I find that really tackling the key issues on a family's mind in respect of their business and wealth can make such a massive difference to the long-term success and transition of that business and that wealth. So going through a governance process where you are really engaging with a broad group of family members, really getting to know what's on their mind, helping them think through how they can deal with those issues, and coming up with a very clear framework and a set of tools and structures that will really enable them to succeed for the long term can be incredibly valuable. I think people can be sometimes a bit dismissive of family governance as a topic because they don't fully understand it, but having lived and breathed it with numerous families, I think it can make a huge difference. But it does take commitment from the family. They have to be very ready and willing to really kind of take a step back and look at what improvements they can make as to how they govern themselves. And it requires, in my experience, professional support, because actually really kind of assessing what you want from the future and how you're going to work with each other as a family can be challenging. And having an external professional who can give that guidance and help to them can be very valuable. So as you can tell, I'm a big advocate of the whole process of family governance, and I think as private client advisors should definitely embrace it.
That's great. Well, Claire, thank you very much. Very, very interesting.
Okay.
I'm obliged to you for coming in.
Thank you very much. Thank you.